Hey, Greg Stewart here, Maizex Seeds. On this edition of Maizex Moving, we're in a field in Elgin County, Ontario. This is Peter Littlejohns. He's our dealer down this way, and we're going to talk about our favorite topic, which is nitrogen management. The key thing that we could talk about today is the Maizex N Tracker, and what did we change in it, and what did we learn from winter meetings? We had some great virtual winter meetings this past year. Did we learn anything about nitrogen management? Maybe lesson number one would be, did you keep your nitrogen level high enough right in the row zone to make sure that early growth is uninhibited, and when this plant is deciding how many rows around to put on an ear, is there any influence of making sure that you're not short on nitrogen? So this crop here is at V4, 6 leaf overs, 7 tips, so it's right in the heart of deciding what that girth on the ear is going to be. And so this year in our Maizex trials, lots of soil sampling, but dedicated to right in the row zone to make sure we're not short of nitrate in the row zone. We think we need to be in that 40 to 50 parts per million if you're just sampling right in around the row zone. Then we move on to the pre-side dress N test, which has been sort of our traditional nitrate testing tool, where you move to a full foot deep 30 centimeter soil probe. Generally move right to the middle of the row so you're out of any fertilizer bands, and then sort of evaluate, well, what's my status in terms of nitrogen that maybe has been broadcast, nitrogen from manure, nitrogen from legumes, and give an assessment of where you're at if you sample a full foot deep. We feel pretty confident over the years that if you're putting a lot of your nitrogen up front, the soil N test can still give you a nice evaluation of, hey, am I okay? Have I made it to sort of threshold nitrogen? And that number has been about 35 parts per million in a 1 foot probe. If you get to 35 parts per million, mainly that'll mean you've put lots of manure or nitrogen on early, but if you do get to 35 parts per million, I've seen very little data that suggests that it's worth trying to put more N on. If you've put less N on up front, then the PSNT test can sort of help guide you as to, so how much do we need to put on in the side dress, Y drop, top dress, later sort of window. And then the final thing, if you're looking at the N Tracker that's new this year, would be coming back to those same fields where we've looked at them in row, and then we've looked at them in side dress time, to come back to those same fields and evaluate what the N level is in the tissue, the ear leaf, right in as we're moving into that VT R1 pollination grain fill phase. And Tony Vine, my old mentor, was on one of our virtual sessions at Maizex, gave us some nice things to think about in terms of N status and how critical it is in terms of good grain fill in modern hybrids. And so we'll come back and evaluate, you know, where do we need to be in terms of tissue testing and N values in that ear leaf. So sort of an exciting opportunity to sort of broaden out how we track our nitrogen across 3 distinct phases. Still lots to learn about nitrogen. Going to work on it until I die or retire, whichever comes first, and hope that you have some success in terms of fine-tuning your nitrogen management in 2021. All the best. Thanks.